When Emily first brought up the idea of taking a break, it felt like the floor beneath me gave way. We'd been together for almost 4 years. Long enough to create a rhythm that felt permanent. Our apartment wasn't just a place we lived in. It was our little world. We had a dog that was basically our child, and we'd been making plans to buy a house. The kind of conversations that make you think the future is already set in stone. So when she sat me down on a quiet Tuesday night, speaking in this strangely steady tone, and said, "I just need space, Ryan. It's not you. It's me. I need time to think." My mind instantly started unraveling. I tried to keep my face calm, my words measured. I told her I respected her feelings, but inside I was crumbling. Space. From me? From us? That night I didn't close my eyes once. I just stared at the ceiling, replaying her words. The word break circling endlessly in my head like some cruel echo. The next morning, she left early, saying she wanted fresh air. I told myself not to overthink. Maybe she really just needed time. Maybe this was temporary. Maybe love like ours didn't just vanish overnight. But the illusion didn't last long. That very afternoon my phone buzzed. It was my friend Mark. His message was short but heavy. "Hey man, just saw Emily downtown. She wasn't alone." My stomach turned to stone. A moment later, a picture followed. It was her, Emily, walking down the street. Not looking lost or weighed down, but smiling. And she wasn't alone. Beside her was Jake, her ex. The same Jake she had once called manipulative, toxic, and a closed chapter of her life. The man she swore was nothing compared to me. Yet here they were, laughing, leaning into each other like no time had passed. The break suddenly made sense. It wasn't about soul-searching or stress. It was about him. When she came home that evening, she played her role with ease. She greeted the dog with affection, asked me casually about my day, then slipped into the bedroom with studied nonchalance. She didn't meet my eyes. I didn't confront her, not yet. A part of me wanted to know just how far this would go, how deep her deception ran. Over the next few days, her excuses multiplied. She started claiming she was staying at her sister's for quiet and clarity. Her phone, once left casually on the couch, never left her grip. Late-night walks stretched into hours. It was a pattern too neat, too rehearsed. I didn't want to believe I'd become the paranoid boyfriend, but every instinct screamed the truth. By Friday night, I decided I needed more than instinct. When she said she was going to dinner alone, I waited a while, then followed at a distance. Sure enough, she wasn't alone. At a small restaurant tucked away downtown, I spotted her sitting across from Jake, a candle flickering between them, their laughter spilling out into the dim room. They raised their glasses like they were celebrating, like I had never existed. I felt something tear inside me. It wasn't anger at that moment, it was clarity. I pulled out my phone, snapped photos, not for revenge but because I knew when the truth came out, she'd never admit it. People like Emily always have a way of rewriting the story. Later that night, she came home with wine on her breath and a carefully chosen smile. She looked me in the eye and said softly, "Ryan, I just need you to be patient with me. This break is about me, not about anyone else." The lie slipped off her tongue like it was rehearsed in a mirror. I forced a nod, masking the fire in my chest. "Of course," I told her. "Take all the time you need." But inside, my patience was over. Each passing day only sharpened the edges of betrayal. She got careless too, forgetting a hotel receipt in her purse, silencing her phone when I was near, staying out overnight and calling it family obligations. Every piece fit neatly into a puzzle I never wanted to see. 2 weeks later, the final blow came. On a sunny afternoon, I saw her in the park with him. Jake's arm rested casually around her shoulders, her head tilted toward him in a way that once belonged to me. That evening, she returned home with her usual story about helping her sister. I didn't call her out. I just let her sit in her illusion a little longer. The next morning, I made coffee, slid a cup across to her, and asked simply, "Emily, are you happy?" She blinked, clearly caught off guard. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I mean with me, with us, with this break." Her answer was the same recycled speech she'd been feeding me for weeks. Confusion, needing space, claiming I deserved better. But this time her words didn't sting. They only confirmed the truth I already carried. That evening, I laid out everything on the table. The photos, the screenshots, the receipts. Each piece dropped in front of her like a card in a game. She thought she was winning. Her face paled, her voice faltered. "Ryan, it's not what it looks like," she stammered. The line was almost laughable. Not what it looked like. There she was in full color, wrapped in Jake's embrace, kissing him in shadows she thought were safe. I stayed calm. "I gave you honesty, Emily. All I wanted was the same." For the first time in weeks, she had no script. She sat frozen, eyes darting, words failing. Finally, she whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt you." But she had. And worse than that, she believed I'd never see it, never put the pieces together. That was her greatest mistake. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I stood, picked up my already packed bag. I'd been ready for this moment, and walked toward the door. She asked where I was going. My answer was simple. Somewhere I don't have to wonder if I matter. Then I left. Quietly, without the explosion she expected. Weeks later, word reached me that Jake had already lost interest. The man she'd gambled everything on had walked away, leaving her empty-handed. Emily had traded loyalty for nostalgia, and it left her alone. As for me, I didn't feel broken. I felt lighter, free. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't rage or confrontation. It's silence. It's walking away from someone who thought they still had control over you. And letting them watch as you build a life they'll never be part of again. Do you want me to also create some dramatic alternative titles for this story, like I've done for your other ones?